Dear students, very good afternoon. Greetings of the day. So, first two units we have been discussing about biogeochemical cycles, and the second unit we have been discussing about the various microbial interactions present in the soil system. So, we have been talking about the microbiological aspects, especially environmental microbiological aspects of the first important phase in the ecosystem, that is soil system, that is in lithosphere. And unit number 3 we are going to start today, module 3. This unit talks briefly about the environmental microbiology aspects of air. Okay, so the environmental aspects of air. So unit number, module number 3, microbiology of air. And today we are going to discuss the overview of microbial flora of air, and what are the basic composition of microbial flora, and what are the major kinds and sources of microbial flora, and what are the major type of infection that is caused due to the airborne microbial flora. And as you all know, the atmosphere, air, that doesn't have any nutrients. Okay, this is not at all a natural medium for the microbial growth and reproduction. There is no necessary amount of moisture and other nutrients are available for the growth of microorganism. And there is a very enormous branch called aeromicrobiology that deals with the study of the living microorganisms which are suspended throughout the air. And the microorganisms are present in the air by various forms. The principal forms are the microorganism that is attached in the suspended particle, especially the dust particle, in the form of either the vegetative cell or the dominant resistant form called endospore. And many microorganisms that is present in the air, they are saprophytes. And how they have originated? They have originated from the dead organic matter that is present in the lithosphere. Okay, so the microorganism completely expelled from the soil to the atmosphere, that is the air. And the number and kind of various microorganisms are depending on based on the specific location or locality in which they are residing. Okay, and the most important types of organisms are the mold and yeast are very common in the case of air. Okay, and a lot of gram positive and gram negative bacteria are also there. Okay, so what I am trying to tell is bacteria, mold and yeast are present, but mold and yeast are very predominant than bacteria. And the organism produces spores which are capable of resisting unfavorable environmental conditions. As we have discussed, air doesn't contribute the culture medium for the growth of microorganism. So the microorganism, they doesn't have adequate amount of nutrients once they are residing in the air. So then what they will do? They will convert their vegetative cells into the dominant resistant form called spores. Okay, and the number of organisms in the air depending upon the activity of environment, what type of environment and what is the amount of dust particle that is commonly available. An active environment shows high number of bacterial count and microbial count than the less active environment. And the dirty untidy rooms, okay, the dirty and untidy rooms contain maximum number of bacteria than a very clean room. Okay, so that is the common concept. And the aerobic spore forming bacteria such as Bacillus subtilis are very common bacteria. They are able to grow in the atmospheric condition for a very long time in the form of spores. And similarly, the tropical air consists of high percentage of gram positive and gram negative organism than micrococci and the spore forming bacteria. The tropical air consisting of high amount of gram positive and gram negative bacteria than the micrococci and the spore producing organism. And similarly, in the case of soil, okay, I told you the primary source of microorganism there arises to the air is from the soil. So that means to say the rich, fertile, cultivated soil contain maximum number of organisms than a sandy or a clay or uncultivated soil. Okay, so we have already discussed the cultivated soil has lot of nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, all those things that will be helpful for the growth of microorganism. And similarly, the soil has so many nutritional substance. Soil has the plant has the rhizosphere. Okay, there is a lot of substance they produces, and the microorganism they are able to survive abundantly in the cultivated soil, and that cultivated soil that contribute the microorganism to air also. And the terrestrial air contains more organism than the marine atmosphere. Okay, the terrestrial ecosystem contains more number of microorganisms than marine ecosystem. And the damp or humid atmosphere contains more number of organisms than the dried environment. Okay, the dried environment. And the cold environment, that is especially the refrigerated environments, are consisting of very less number of organisms than the a normal mesophilic condition. Okay, generally refrigerated air they are free from organisms, but there are some organisms like Pseudomonas they will be able to survive. Okay, then dry summer season contain more organisms than the wet winter season, because dry summer season contribute the environmental condition, adequate temperature for the growth of microorganism. So a lot of mesophilic organism in the range of 27 to 37 degrees centigrade they will be able to grow. Okay, then if you are traveling from the bottom to the top, the altitude and the lower altitude, the altitude that is very near to the surface, okay, the soil that has a high number of bacteria, because the air current as well as the wind circulations are very high, and the microorganism from all the system, the lithosphere and the aquatic ecosystem, they are arises to the air. Okay, then the lower altitude has high number of microorganisms than the higher altitude. When we are starting traveling from the bottom to the top, when the altitude reaches near to the top, very near to the sun, okay, the microorganism, the distribution of microbial flora will be decreases. So maximum number of microbial flora will be present very near to the earth crust. So that is the another important aspects of the distribution of microorganism in the air. Organisms such as Methanosarcina and Methanococcus and other species are commonly seen in the air. You know that there are archaeobacteria, this one, okay, and Micrococcus are also commonly present. And these organisms are spherical, saprophyte, and sometimes they are pigment producing organisms. They are chromogenic organism. And in the case of Arctic air, it consisting of more number of spore forming bacteria and micrococci than gram negative and gram positive bacteria. Okay, normal Arctic air that has more number of spore producing organism than the gram negative and gram positive non-sporulated bacteria. And if you talk about, there are I told you there in the air that doesn't contribute any nutrients. There are three different elementary limiting factors are present in the air. Okay, three main important things. One, a lack of adequate nutrients. The first elementary limiting factor is there is lack of nutrients, and the frequent deficit of the water, that is known as desiccation. Okay, second condition is a frequent deficit of water. The third one is the radiation from the sunlight. Okay, third one is the radiation from the sunlight. You know that that radiations are highly dangerous to the microorganism. They are having a photolytic activities, and that photolytic activities they kill, especially from UV light, that they will kill the microorganism. And the presence of microorganisms in the air, they are various forms are there that primarily depending on the chemical composition of their structure and the resistant to desiccation and solar radiations. Okay, the chemical composition or structure and resistant to desiccation and solar radiations are the main reason for the various types of microorganisms present in the air. And the bacteria, there are four important in general. I'm talking in general. There are bacterial resting form, that is endospore form. Their dominant resistant form, that is called as endospores, and the bacterial vegetative form, the normal cells. Then the spores of fungi, fungal spores, and the viruses with a certain envelope. Okay, so that is what is another important aspects. And the main important factors which influencing the presence of microorganism in the air. What are the major factors which influence the presence of microorganism in the air? Okay, number one, the speed of air current, the speed of wind, that way microorganism travel from one part to another part through the air current. Then the period of time, okay, how much period that is available, the day and night, okay, and the nature of the time, that is also very important. Then the size of dust particle, the size of the dust particle, if it is larger, microorganism will be getting more space to occupy in the dust particle. Then the humidity of the atmosphere, I have already told you, the humidity of the atmosphere also will be an important parameter. Then the density of human and animal population, because animal and human population obviously contribute lot of microbial flora. When they cough, sneeze, talk, okay, all their activities contribute lot of microorganisms to the air. Then the nature of the soil, I told you the fertile soil contribute lot of microorganisms than a non-fertile soil. Then the amount of vegetation, if the vegetation are very high, then there will be lot of rhizosphere effect, okay, and that contribute lot of microbial flora than the sandy the place in which there is no vegetation, especially the desert. Then the temperatures are very important. Mesophilic temperature contribute mesophilic organism, and if the temperature is very low, the microorganism also seems to be very low. Then I have already told you the circulation of wind from one location to another location, so there will be the transformation of microbial flora and mixing of microbial flora throughout the atmosphere. Then the rainfall and sunlight, generally the sunlight, it will, when it is normal sunlight, there will be microbial cloud, because mesophilic organism, they will be able to survive. And rainfall, which contribute to the humidity, and there will be suspended particle also that will be available. Okay, so these are the various parameters that influences the growth of microorganism in the air. And as we can see in this figure, these are the various types of various sources of microorganism in the air. And the cultivation activities, okay, the agricultural practices that contribute a lot of microbial flora. Then the fresh sunlight, okay, and vegetation, all those things that is contribute a lot of microorganisms. Then here you can see a lot of from aquatic ecosystem, okay, that contribute a lot of microorganisms, okay, and the activities of various animals, okay, that contribute a lot of microorganisms. And obviously the industrial practices, okay, that also has from the industry, that also has adversely affect the distribution of microorganisms. Obviously the human activities such as coughing, sneezing, okay, this contribute a much more number of microbial flora in the air. And this is the picture that shows, okay, electron microscopic picture that shows whenever we cough and whenever you sneeze, whenever you talk, okay, whenever you undergoing respiration, okay, all those kind of whenever we breathe, okay, all those time when you talk, okay, when you cough, okay, and when you do any activities, there's so many number of minute particles are that is deposited in the air. So this particular compounds are known as these are mainly aerosols and droplet nuclei. So in this particular unit, in terms of the present pandemic, the COVID-19, this unit is very, very important, because we can see that the coronavirus, okay, the SARS coronavirus 2 is transferring mainly to the droplet nuclei. That is why people are telling, at least you have to keep you have to keep distance, okay, because the main transmission of the disease is through this kind of activities, okay. And this is very, very important sources of microorganism, especially that contribute a lot of microorganism and the air, okay. So that is another important concept. Then the major kinds of microbial flora in the air are, the major types of microbial flora are, that is free vegetative forms, and this is the natural state in which adequate amount of nutrients are available. Then if there is a starvation of the nutrient, air doesn't have a adequate nutrient, most of the cases the organism will be exist in the form of endospore, okay. Then the presence of microorganism along with some of the other particles, there are three important things. That is, one is aerosols, next one is droplet nuclei, next one is infectious dust. So these are the main important concepts they have mentioned in your syllabus. And today we are going to discuss very briefly about each and everything, and next class we will discuss in detail all those things, okay. Then the aerosols are biological contaminants that suspended in the air, okay. And this may be having a very variety of sizes, starting from 1 micrometer to 50 micrometer in diameter. And this particle composed of the microorganisms which are attached or adhered to the dust particles, okay. And this is known as aerosol, and these aerosols are mainly two types, okay. The aerosols are generated from the human sources, and the aerosols are generated from environmental sources. So human sources, as you can see in this picture, lot of aerosols are generating when you are sneezing, coughing, okay, breathing, okay, talking, all those activities, okay. So aerosol generated from the human activities. Then the aerosol generated from the environmental activities also, okay. Lot of environmental activities we have already seen the environmental activities that lot of aerosols are generating. Then next one is droplet nuclei. Droplet nuclei and aerosols are closely related terms. Droplet nuclei are the small droplets of water or moisture that combines with the microorganism to form a solid residue, okay. And this is airborne droplet nuclei, and that is that has a fluid of pathogenic droplet, okay. Then it has approximately 1 to 5 micrometer diameter. Then the droplet mainly has that contains the pathogenic microorganism. Droplet has pathogenic microorganisms. Then this can survive in the air for a very long time, and they can cause a airborne infection. So as we can see, the COVID-19, the main reason for COVID-19, the transmission is the droplet, aerosols and droplets, okay. These are one of the important sources of transmission. Then the infectious dust. So the dust particle that contain the pathogenic microorganism, and that probably arises from the human or environmental sources, okay. That again the same things, like there arises from the human sources and there arises from the environmental sources, okay. So in the case of human sources, we have discussed all the human activities that generate lot of infectious dust, okay. The microorganism that is combines with the dust particles, and they form a infectious dust, okay. And there are a lot of other environmental aspects also. Then the another important aspects of aeromicrobiology is these sources and kind of microorganisms are most important component of the transmission of infection, okay. There are airborne bacterial infection, airborne viral infection, and airborne fungal infection, and airborne protozoal infection. So these are the major types of infection that is commonly present in the air, that is transmitted through air. Then airborne bacterial infection, this you will be studying in your, some of the things you will be studying in your bacterial disease paper, and there are some of the examples are that is transmitted through air. streptococcal pharyngitis, that is known as scarlet fever. Okay, the causative organism is Streptococcus pyogenes, a gram-positive cocci arranged in a chain. Then another most popular infection that is transmitted through air is tuberculosis. Okay, one of the most dangerous disease, Mycobacterium tuberculosis and Mycobacterium bovis, they are making this particular infection. Then next one, another important thing called whooping cough or pertussis. Okay, the whooping cough for pertussis, that is caused by Bordetella pertussis. The causative organism is Bordetella pertussis. Then next one is diphtheria. So again a gram-positive bacteria that is arranged in a Chinese letter-like appearance. So that is known as Corynebacterium diphtheriae. Okay, that is the next important organism. Next one is meningococcal meningitis. So the organism is caused, this meningococcal meningitis is Neisseria meningitidis. Okay, then next one is Legionnaires disease. So that the causative organism is Legionella pneumophila. Okay, the next one nocardiosis, and this is one important thing. Nocardia, Nocardia, several type of Nocardia species. Okay, so that is another important example. Then the common viral infection, that which are so many viral infections such as common cold, influenza, smallpox, chickenpox, okay, mumps, rubella, measles, foot and mouth disease, and sore throat and pneumonia. Okay, the common cold, okay, that is caused by, commonly that is known as rhinovirus. In fact, you know that coronavirus. Okay, and we are having so many types of corona. Okay, virus, that is MERS coronavirus, SARS coronavirus. Okay, and the current coronavirus is very similar to the SARS coronavirus. Thus it is known as SARS coronavirus 2. And influenza, the causative organism is influenza virus. Smallpox, that is the causative virus is a variola virus. Chickenpox, that is the causative organism is varicella zoster. And there are three important viral infection called mumps, rubella and measles. So you will be studying that particular things in virology. You have already studied about one of the important viral infection. Okay, so mumps caused by mumps virus, rubella caused by rubella virus. Okay, and rubella is known as German measles, in fact, and measles, that is caused by rubeola virus. So you will be studying the pathology, the etiology, and all those treatment, prophylaxis, symptoms, in all those things in your virology paper. And the foot and mouth borne disease, that is picorna viruses. Okay, these are the causative organisms. And virus also cause pneumonia, that is known as adenovirus, generally sore throat. Okay, so that is also viral infection. Then airborne fungal infection, both fungal yeast as well as the mold, they will cause the fungal infection. Okay, so that organisms are commonly known as mycosis. Myco means, you know, fungus. Common type of mycosis is caused by Microsporum racemosum. Okay, and there are another type of mycosis called deep mycosis. There are two important types of mycosis. Okay, one is known as aspergillosis, another one is known as cryptococcosis. Okay, aspergillosis is caused by Aspergillus fumigatus, and cryptococcosis is a fungal yeast caused infection, Cryptococcus neoformans. You will be studying that one in this parasitology paper. And another one is histoplasmosis. Okay, so that is the causative organism is Histoplasma capsulatum. Okay, next one is blastomycosis. Okay, the causative organism is Blastomyces dermatitis. Okay, so these are the major type of airborne fungal infection. Then comes to airborne protozoal infection. This is very rare, but you will be having the protozoal infection also in the case of that is transmitted through air. Okay, here also pneumonia is there, and that is caused by a protozoa called Pneumocystis carinii. Okay, that pneumonia is known as Pneumocystis carinii pneumonia. Okay, that is a protozoa, the pneumonia that is caused by protozoa. Okay, so please note that pneumonia will be caused by the bacteria and virus and protozoa. Then another important thing is blight grain disease, that is caused by Puccinia graminis. Okay, so Puccinia graminis is the causative organism of a blight grain disease. So these are the overview of a airborne protozoan and airborne infection that is caused through the air. And today we are going to conclude the overview of aerobiology. What you have important aspects of aerobiology. Then we have discussed what are the factors which influence in the presence of microorganism in the air, and the kinds and distribution of microorganism that is present in the air, and the type and nature of microorganisms present in the air. Okay, then the airborne infections we have discussed the overview. Okay, airborne bacterial infections, airborne viral infections, and airborne fungal infection, airborne protozoan infection. So these are the various types of infection that is caused by microorganism that is commonly present in air. Okay, so this is all about today's class, and these are the major reference. And one for this particular unit, I would like to introduce one important textbook. Okay, fundamental principles of bacteriology. There is a nice textbook that is written by A.J. Sali. This unit you can see air bacteriology. Okay, in there air bacteriology you can see there you will be able to see the entire concept whatever we have discussed. And apart from this, the other textbook that is mentioned in your syllabus, and some recent review papers in environmental air microbiology also I have taken. Okay, so thank you very much for watching today's class. So if you are having any doubts or clarification, you can write it to me, or you can post down, or you can text me, or you can call me. Okay, so I hope you understood the basics of air microbiology. The next class we are going to discuss in detail about all the different types of forms, especially aerosols, droplets, and infectious dust. Okay, and later we are going to discuss how are you going to enumerate, okay, isolate the bacteria from the air, and what are the major methods for that one. So this is all about today's class. So have a great time. So take care.